Ukraine Today is joined by Andriy Valchyshyn, a political consultant. Andriy, welcome to Ukraine Today.
Hello.
Andriy, first of all, we have the upcoming local elections in October. I understand the current law, which is governing the local elections, isn't perfect. And there was a lot of criticism about this law, even to the extent that a new law might be adopted. So can you tell us and our viewers what is so wrong with the existing law of local elections?
As you know, under current law, half of the deputies is being elected through party lists, and second half through a majority system. Basically, we have several problems with this law. First of all, that the way in which party lists are being created is very untransparent. And in Ukrainian reality, how it looks like. Party puts several prominent people in the top part of the list, and all of the other places are being distributed between candidates based on the sum of money that they donate to their party or their party bosses. So it is not very good. Secondly, when we speak about majority system, there is a high possibility of certain candidates of buying votes or bribing voters. So it is a major problem with this law. And finally, we have a third minus. We do not have a second turn of elections for the mayors of big cities. And in certain cases, very unpopular people can become mayors, as we have experienced this a similar situation here in Kyiv several years ago, when Leonid Chernovatsky, while he was a very unpopular guy, but he won the race, because all of the other votes were distributed between Klitschko and candidates from other democratic parties, and those voters, they were really opposing Chernovatsky.
Understood. So is this new law which is being proposed will fix these problems?
Unfortunately, no. Several weeks ago, this law was passed during the first hearing, but after closer attention to this law from the side of experts and civic community, several minuses are also obvious. So first of all, this law creates a significant barrier for the new political parties and for civic activists that were not previously connected with political parties to enter the new bodies and to refresh local political elites. Unfortunately, we have this problem. And secondly, because this law was developed before the decentralization reform that is being announced and that has to be adopted in a couple of weeks in Parliament through constitutional changes. And there are many mismatches and even contradictions between this law and the new model of administrative governance in Ukraine.
Andriy, during the upcoming local elections in October, some of the experts say that former Yanukovych allies will try to use these elections to regain some of their lost power. What do you think about that?
This is a very big problem. Most of the previous local self-government bodies, especially in eastern and all over Ukraine, they were elected back in 2010. And since that time, no elections were held. And even after revolution, this period was missed. So new parties, mainstream parties, nowadays mainstream parties, they haven't conducted sufficient work on those territories that were previously occupied and that are now free and under Ukrainian governance. And the possibility of revenge of former Yanukovych allies is quite high. More than that, according to the research that was made by Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, voters from southern regions of Ukraine and some other regions of Ukraine are also significantly influenced by Russian propaganda. So it is a major threat, and from the other side, it is opportunity for many of nowadays parties to work harder right now, while several months are still left before the elections.
There are a lot of disappointments with the current government for many reasons, because of the ongoing war in eastern Ukraine, because of the deep economic crisis, because of the war and corruption being done very poorly. Do you think that these moods will help the populist candidates or populist parties to win in the local elections?
As we see from the freshest ratings and polls, for example, rating of Yulia Tymoshenko is rising. Why it is rising? Because she promises to reduce prices for natural gas that were adopted recently. in current situation, many people experience economic hardships. It's obvious. But many of them still are seeking for very simple decisions. Unfortunately, they do not realize that those decisions and solutions, they are not realistic. But populistic candidates can gain a significant part of voters' support on the upcoming elections. More than that, I would say that many of those political parties that are currently in government or in parliament, and many of their owners or leaders, they try to diversify their political influence, and currently they are starting new political projects because the reserve of support of those parties is almost empty, and they try to gain a much better balance, and including through the usage of those populistic methods and rhetorics.
So what kind of these new projects we will see in a couple of months?
You have just to go to the street and to take a look at the billboards that are growing as mushrooms after the rain. Right now we have People's Control, we have new project Ukrop, and we have many other projects that will be more and more visible as more time will go and as it will be closer to the election time.
Andriy, I know that you're advising both existing MPs and prospective MPs. What are you telling them? What is the main message you're giving them for the upcoming local elections?
There are two aspects. First of all, we have specifics of Ukrainian political culture that needs to be encountered during their political work. What does it mean? That for many people, party is the main target point when they make political decisions. And it is very important for politicians to be in a good party at this time. Secondly, the very important aspect is that not all of the old technologies are working. So for many years, it was very usual for politicians just to invest money, big money, into their political campaigns and to gain political support this way. Indeed, last elections have shown a swift to a more Western-oriented practices. So volunteer support from ordinary people, from business, good communication with civic society, with international observers. They increase the possibilities that a candidate will be successful during those elections.
Based on your experience as a political consultant, what are the main secrets to become an MP? What are the main secrets to win the election?
You have to have a role that is in very good political role that is in very good harmony with your personality, first of all. Secondly, you have to have a very good team. Many people, they just hire consultants or they engage their closer relatives or friends. But it is not always the best solution. Much better is to have a strong political team that will support you and that you are starting working with way before the election date. And thirdly, I think that Ukrainian politicians have to go in line with all Ukrainian trends, and because society during the previous year has changed dramatically. Maybe not 100%, but a big part of the society has changed, and those processes of self-organization, of civic activities, of volunteering, they have to be included into the broader political strategy of any candidate.
Well, some very interesting tips. Andriy, many thanks for coming to us and talking to us.
Thank you for
This was Volodymyr Zalub for Ukraine Today, together with political consultant Andriy Valchyshyn. Thank you for watching us.